Hello my friends, today is Tuesday, January 7th, and this is where I'm at with my office. Yesterday I received my new bookshelf a day early. I was very excited to get it, however I am unable to set it up yet. The reason for this, of course, is because we did not have enough time to install the remainder of the baseboards in the room, which means I can't put the bookshelf against the wall, which means there's really no point in setting it up because it'll just be in our way when we finish the baseboards. So I was a little bit disappointed with this, but I also received a green screen. And my green screen, I'm pretty excited to use it. I went through some trial and error. I'll show you what this kind of looked like. Some of the videos were too bright. My shirt was blending in with the background. Then other ones were too dark. When I finally figured out that I need to do some more research. So I learned that there needs to be separate layers of lighting. The green screen itself needs its own layer of lighting, and then I myself need a layer of lighting. You have to watch what colors you wear. You have to watch for shadows and wrinkles. And so I have officially ironed my green screen. I hope this works. We will find out on this video. Aside from that, I also ordered, I've been spending too much money and my husband's probably just rolling his eyes, but I found this really cool, I wasn't looking for this, but I found this really cool metal dragon head that you hang on your wall. So I got it and I was thinking about, well, how the heck am I going to actually put this on the wall because there's no like hooks or any attachments to this piece of metal. So my husband says, well, why don't you get a frame and put like a background and then put it inside the frame and hang the frame on the wall. It'll really make the dragon head pop. So I'm going to try that and I'm excited to show you what that's going to look like once I have that figured out. My printer stand is being more and more decorated by whatever dragon figurines and lights and stuff that I have. I'm enjoying decorating it and I really can't wait to get that bookshelf up so I can have some fun with it. So in addition to fighting with the green screen and trying to figure things out with the baseboards, I finally had time to sit down and check my emails. I had 3 new submissions for Sable Book Night that I'd mentioned before that I received over the holidays. And I also had 2 edits back from other writers. So this morning, I got up at 5 a.m. It was not in the plan, but I got up. I was feeling half decent. Everybody was sleeping except my husband who had to work early. Actually, I was up at 4 o'clock, not 5. It was really early. So I sat at my desk in a nice quiet house and I worked for 2 hours straight and I got through both stories for editing. And I did 1 beta reading, and then I had a break, made sure the kids got up for school, and then I did the other 2 beta reading. I'm really excited for this Portals anthology to come out. There are some really talented writers in this book. The downside to running a publishing company when you're accepting submissions is sometimes you actually have to turn people down. And I hate doing that. I understand how that makes a writer feel because I've had that myself. However, I have to stay true to the vision of this book, and the submission was just not where I needed it to be. It's not that the writer wasn't talented, and I won't go into details out of respect for their own privacy, but it just did not fit. So through this process, I have unfortunately had to turn down 2 different writers for their stories for different reasons. And I didn't enjoy doing that, but again, I have to stay true to the vision and I want this Portals anthology to really come across well to readers. So while I'm waiting to hear back from the other writers on the beta reading, responses that I sent out, and the final edits for the other 2 stories, I also need to revise and edit my stories, and then I'm also going to hire an editor for my stories as well that will be going into the Portals anthology, because it's always good to get another pair of eyes on your story. I'm expecting 1 more submission, otherwise submissions are officially closed. So if you still have a story that you would like to send, please send it before the end of January because I'd really like to get this wrapped up. So in February, I need to look at organizing the book launch, getting the cover ordered, and looking at how many copies I need to order physically so that I can get the print books ready. Now, if there's a lot of interest from the writers' friends and families, I'm hoping that I can kind of get an estimate as to how many copies they might need from me in person. And then if I am going to need to order a whole bunch, I might just go through a local printing company rather than ordering print on demand. It does save money to not go through Amazon Print to order author copies. I have thus far not worked with a local printing company before to do a print run because I never really needed, a couple hundred copies. I only ever needed, 10 here, 20 there. So financially, you need to invest in these print copies. I didn't feel the need to go through a print company to only order like 20 copies. In fact, I really don't think that they would accept an order for 20 copies, and if they did, it would probably cost more than it would have on Amazon. But this is different. I'm planning a big book launch event, and I'm hoping to have some authors there to read parts of their stories, and hopefully some friends and family will come to support their writing relative or friend, and sell some copies. Give the authors an opportunity to answer any questions, perhaps sign their stories. I'm really excited about this. So this week I am looking at setting up that dragon head in a frame. I am going to wait for my husband to be available so we can do the baseboards. Then we got to set up the bookshelf. Then I'm going to try to organize the bookshelf and see if there's a possibility of me downsizing my book collection, which honestly, I don't really want to. But we're trying to reduce the amount of stuff we have in our home, and this will leave 2 bookcases, sitting there, not really necessary because it won't go in my office. If I can even get rid of 1 bookcase, I think that will make my husband happy, but I'm pretty sure he'd like me to get rid of both of them. So we'll see how this goes. Good day. Guess what? I have my bookshelf up. Today is Monday, January 12th. I'm going to give you a quick little view of what my bookshelf looks like. So, of course, on the center, I had to put my dragon castle. I need more dragons. I need more and more dragons. I have to find out where to buy more because these cute little guys are no longer available locally as the store closed down. The pandemic really did impact them. I loved that store. Okay, so top left. This shelf is going to be for all of my publications. Now, the first section of books, the Voices books, those are all anthologies. They called it a journal. Tomato slices, I have a chicken parmesan recipe published in there. Then I have my self-published books after Voices. Down below that, we've got some romantasy. I have only read the first 2 books starting from the left. I have not read the rest yet. And the next one, we've got some steamy stuff. Aurora Asher, I've done some reviews of her books on my channel. They are not the best written books, but they sure are smutty. So if you're looking for smutty, check out Aurora Asher. Then I've got Karen Marie Moaning, which is kind of like an urban fantasy. It's very steamy. There's some great scenes in there, a little bit darker than, 50 Shades, because who doesn't own those? Who reads romance? Got a couple of empty shelves. I'm trying to figure out what to put on them. Now moving over here, we've got the high fantasy. We have the Inheritance series. It's Aragon, Eldest, Brissinger. Murtaugh was Christopher Paolini's latest release there a couple years ago. Then I've got Rachel Hartman's Seraphina and Shadowscale, and then there's a few other little dragon books there that I haven't completely gone through yet. Then, of course, we've got Tolkien, all of Tolkien's books that I have, as well as the dwarves. Now, the dwarves, I do have more than just 1 book, but I have to find them somewhere in my mess of more books. I'm getting a rude reminder as to how many books I actually have. All right, the Mistborn book, that's book 3. I've read book 1 and I'm on book 2, and then I'll move to book 3. I just have to find my other book that I read. And these are Forgotten Realms. I can't believe how many Forgotten Realms books there are. This shelf is dedicated for the books that I have the full collection of in those series. So that is on my TBR. Now I'm just going to shift over to the right. There's more Forgotten Realms books in there that I don't have the collection for. And then, of course, George R. R. Martin's Game of Thrones series. And, of course, I have tried 3 times to read book 1, and I'm having a really difficult time reading it. I don't know why. Lack of emotional connection to the characters, I think, is one of the biggest things. It's not currently in the book order, the correct book order. But anyways, that's where those are. Some R.A. Salvatore books. These are the hardcover books. I'm not sure where they fit in the series yet. I got to go through them. These are for independent authors. Some of them I know personally, or some of them I met in person. And then some Voices books that I don't have anything published in. Now I'm skipping one shelf for the moment. These are Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson books. I have quite a few. I have a couple more down here. The Narnia books, my son was reading them, so there's 2 books MIA currently. Book of Doors I've read. I just haven't found the right home for it yet compared to what else is on my shelf. And then, of course, these 3 books I haven't read yet either, L.J. Smith, but they have some good reviews, so I might get to those one day. Now I'm going to show you my hidden collection. I have a crap ton of Harlequin books. Now, I have not read, like, any of these, maybe one of them. I have rows of them. I have them tucked away in my desk shelf. The reason I haven't read them is because I was into fantasy, and my mother-in-law went and bought me a whole bunch of bags of these books. Like, there's multiple rows on these shelves. And of course, tucked away, I have 2 rows of Danielle Steele books. I have hardly read any of them. I probably read a good 5 or 6 of them, but I have to go through to see which ones I have read. Danielle Steele was the first author that my mom got me into reading when I was younger. So I tried to read one of her books quite a few years ago. However, I just found that the quality of writing is not what I remember it to be. Now, you might want to know, why do I have all of those books tucked away in my shelf? And honestly, those are the books that I might not keep. Those are the books that you read it once and then you're done, you give them away. Everything that's going on the shelf behind me are books that I have either read and loved, or they're part of a collection that I want to keep, or books that I plan to read. So I have a lot more books than this. This is only like a tidbit of what I have. I still have like half of a bookshelf full, like a bookcase full. There's authors like V.C. Andrews and Dean Koontz, and I've been given all of these books, but I haven't read any of them yet. And I haven't decided what I'm going to put on the bottom shelves here. I might put the Dean Koontz books there, but I feel like I need to read one of each author to decide if I actually enjoy reading them before they find a permanent home on my new shelf. So here, I'll give you another glimpse of the shelf from the back. So this desk fits exactly perfectly where I wanted it, between my desk and the door. I like the open concept and the idea that I can decorate it if I want to. There's also these little hooks that you can hang off of the side of the shelves to hang things on. I was thinking maybe I might hang some of my bookmarks on it. I'm not too sure. But I'm really happy with it. And my husband, of course, is happy because that means we may potentially be able to start giving away some of the other books and getting rid of the extra bookshelves, which will give us some more space. So aside from that, today I'm going to get my first haircut in many, many years. I have had my niece give me trims because she's great with doing hair, but she has a busy schedule and she's hard to get in with. So I am going to a new hairdresser to try something out. All of the hairdressers I've had in the past have like moved on or moved away. So I need to find somebody new. So I'm looking forward to that. I will probably come back this afternoon and show you my new haircut. And here we are. Here is the new haircut. I got some layers put in. I got rid of some of the orangey color that was at the bottom of my ends here. The downside is, of course, you can see some more gray. I'm not really supposed to point that out on YouTube, but let's be honest, I'm getting older. But anyways, I'm happy with the new haircut. I like the stylist, so I'll probably go to her again. And yeah, so this is good. That is it for this video log. So have a great rest of your day, afternoon, evening, night, or whatever, and keep writing.